If you view my YouTube channel, you know I visit a lot of parks, and not just big famous parks with special and attractive scenery, but also a lot of average, everyday neighborhood parks. Some people, it seems strange. Why do I do this? Well, there's a reason why, and to talk about it, I'm going to talk about how parks are portrayed in movies. I'm going to start with this iconic scene, the "Life is like a box of chocolate" scene from Forrest Gump. It starts paused, but as it starts rolling, you can see that there are people in the background doing various things, mostly walking. And as you look closer, you might notice they're all walking in straight lines at the same scene without variation or deviation, and mostly walking perpendicular to each other and not interacting. Of course, this is so that they don't interfere or distract from the action in the foreground. This park is also an urban plaza style of park, without playground equipment or places for children. This does exist in the US, but it's a little bit rarer. But in movies, you'll see this quite often. Equestrian statues and the like, which aren't super common in parks in real life, but are in the movies. Another example of this is in Good Will Hunting. Along with the artificial movement you can see at the beginning of the clip, there's also a big equestrian statue behind the characters. In the movie Groundhog's Day, the snowball fight scene is also in a park that's a little atypical. It's a town square style park with buildings in the background and a lot of landscaping and manicuring. There are children in this scene, which makes sense in the movie's context, but it's not the type of park that children would normally play in. This is another example of a park type that's not typical in the US, even though it exists, but is more typical in the movies. In contrast to our scene in Forrest Gump, where the background activity was improbably busy, in Spider-Man we have a scene taking place in Central Park, in a place that on a sunny day would probably be full of people, where it's empty because of, well, we want to have a romantic movie scene. This is pretty typical of the movies, but also is pretty unrealistic. As a great Saturday Night Live skit would remind us, it's not always possible to have realistic background action. For storytelling purposes, it's normal to modify background events or choose a more scenic location to help tell the story. But there is a downside to that. The problem is that reality becomes unrealistic. People are so used to the images shown in movies that a video of a neighborhood park where not much is happening, and in fact where there's no people, seems weird. One of the reasons why I make videos of parks, shopping malls, and other aspects of everyday life is I want to capture, for the present and for the future, what the little parts of daily life look like when they aren't part of a story to tell.